Running on the edge has always been the way that every single person feels most alive. When your life is being risked, your life feels like living. You're no longer a toy to the ambitions of others. You are no longer following in the footsteps of people that see you as less than them. You are yourself for the first time while you're running along the edge. Whenever I talk about an anime or something that touches me or makes me feel something, it's not because of the flashy visuals, it's not because of the cool music, and it's not because of the epic animation or grandeur of the storytelling on a superficial level. For me, all that's nice, and all that helps elevate a story and put it into the forefront of something worth talking about if it happens to have those emotional beats and more thematic and philosophical undertones throughout the entire story. When people recommended to me Cyberpunk Edgerunners, I originally saw it as lacking that. I thought it would just be these badass vigilante type mercenaries going ahead and doing crazy things with lots of gore, sex, and all that other fun stuff that Game of Thrones did to keep people interested in the story for the first couple of episodes until they realized they were actually watching a masterpiece.
I'm ghost riding the whip, crazy taxi!
I was not disappointed, mind you. The story was fun, the characters were wacky, the mercenary thing did not get old, the screen was never boring, something was always going on, the music was constantly fantastic with new tracks in every episode, and the world felt alive. But that's not why I'm talking about it today. Before watching it, I made a bet with my chat while I was streaming that if I like it better than Psychopass, I would delete my channel and make a video on it, because I was so certain that that would not be the case. It's not the case. Psychopass is better. However, it was good enough to warrant a video, so I do apologize for writing it off early and just watching it in spite for a bet that I made with chat. For all that content, you're gonna have to watch my streams on Twitch. They don't make it to the highlights. However, now that I'm telling you that I did like it, and the visuals are great, and all that stuff that everyone says about the story that when they recommend it to me is true, let me tell you it's much better than I expected it to be. It's not a story about badass mercenaries doing badass mercenary things. It's not just a story about cool cyber technology, crazy fight scenes, and just a bleak dystopian world for the sake of being dystopian. It's a story about what makes a human human, what makes people special, and why no one is special. The story starts off with someone going ahead, doing his life. David just wants to be your average dude. He's in a good school because his mom worked her butt off to get him there. She died in a traffic accident. She could have been saved. However, she just wasn't on the good enough medical plan to do so. It likes poking fun at potential flaws in our world, and it loves showing you how these flaws and the dissonance between the fortunate and the unfortunate continued to grow 1,000-fold over the course of the next hundreds of years that leads us into Cyberpunk. And now I'm realizing it's 2077 and not hundreds of years. I've made a terrible error. As technology has evolved, and as this world has evolved, more and more people feel meaningless. More and more people think that there is no purpose to their existence. So, what do you do if nothing you do matters? Well, stimuli.
We're about to buy the whole battle pass right now.
That is very much the impression Cyberpunk seems to be giving us in this story. Stimuli is everywhere. Whether it's gore, whether it's drugs, whether it's sex, it's all about stimulating you and making it worth waking up in the morning. It's a bleak, tragic world where stimulus is the only thing that matters. I do believe a lot of people live their lives this way even today, which is kind of tragic, but it's emulated in such a higher fashion as the world continues to degrade and evolve into the world we see in Cyberpunk Edgerunners. The reason why I mentioned this is because one form of stimulus would be introducing new technology into your body, new chrome, and continuously upgrading yourself. However, there is a risk that comes with this procedures. Even though it makes you awesome and super fast and much stronger and cooler and everyone's looking up to you, eventually it could overload what makes you human and you could become what's called in the story a cyber psycho. It's a concept that's introduced in the very first episode of the story. It hits home when a character you actually know and love and does good things and tries to upgrade himself for good purposes, only for him to also become subject to this psychosis. That's when you realize the tragedy of this world. and the ultimate inevitable end to these people constantly chasing stimuli. Every druggie tells you need a high bigger than the last. Every thrill seeker needs to find a thrill that's more thrilling than the last one, because if it's not a bigger high, well then it's not as high. The problem though with always finding a bigger high or a bigger extreme, at some point you will meet your breaking point, and at some point you will break. That is the physical manifestation of cyber psychosis in this world. When you upgrade yourself too much and you lose your sense of self and humanity, you become a cyber psycho, a monster that just lives to destroy, and you must be put down. I guess it's the cyberpunk equivalent of becoming a zombie. It's really bad. No one wants that to happen. Obviously, that's pretty terrible. And when people start seeing that they are getting to that level, they start shaking, they start exhibiting signs of approaching that state rapidly, that there is no cure, well, that's extremely scary. And you gotta end whatever mission you have in life before that happens, because once it happens, it's over. You become essentially an undead, and you will hurt all the people around you, friend or foe alike.
Stop fucking shooting me! What the fuck is wrong with you? Chill!
It was a misinput. Calm down! You calm the fuck down! There was a misinput!
The reason why I mention this is because that's where living on the edge comes in. You can't just be normal like everyone else, or you're gonna get your butt whooped. And you can't go too far, or you're gonna become a cyber psycho. You have to be just on that edge, that level that you'll retain your humanity, but be able to upgrade yourself as much as possible. That is the edge in this metaphor, but only on a physical level. Of course, on a societal level, this is what edge running means, not skirting and playing by all the rules. You're born into the wrong family, you don't have the right level of wealth, and well, unfortunately, you're just not gonna make it, and society's gonna treat you bad in this world. So, what's the solution? Well, you gotta run on the edge, you gotta skirt some laws. If you get caught, they're gonna kill you. And if you fail, you're a different type of zombie. Not a cyber psycho zombie, but a zombie to the whims of society. The concept of living on the edge is the theme that is present throughout the entirety of Cyberpunk Edgerunners. They call themselves Edgerunners, obviously for this blatant reasoning. However, it also is presented in many ways, be it physical or societal or emotional throughout. The emotional living on the edge in this case would be the extraordinarily difficult relationship between two people with opposing viewpoints in many areas. And I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty details of it because that's already heading into spoiler territory that I'm not really trying to cover here. But this concept is present in every scene, in every example, physical, emotional, societal, and that is what makes Cyberpunk Edgerunners such an amazing story. Because if you run along the edge long enough, at some point, eventually, you're gonna fall off. Now, this is the #1 theme going throughout the entirety of Cyberpunk Edgerunners, and it's really cool and amazing to see how they play with it and present it in different ways in different episodes. But another theme that I think ties into this one, of course, however, is a standalone really cool one that they keep talking about as well. And bro, prepare to cry, because this is actually so powerful when it hit me at what it was trying to say, is you have the main character, David. He's an absolute mad lad. He comes from nothing. He's becoming a mad lad that everyone loves and respects. However, he's using all this chrome stuff. He's getting all these upgrades. That would make someone a cyber psycho. That's a tragedy. Well, here's the good news. For whatever reason, maybe David's special. He has protagonist powers even, perhaps. Would you go as far as to say that he has plot armor, something that protects him from the plot itself, that he could equip all of these incredible, insane upgrades and for some reason maintain his humanity? He becomes a legend among these mercenaries. He can take down anyone. He has so much chrome in his dome that he outclasses every other human being, which is just like a lesser model to him. He even wields a super weapon towards the end of the story that I don't want to talk about really for spoiler reasons. The guy's a mad lad. So many times throughout the story, he says he's special. He's special. That's why he's able to do all these things. For some reason, he has such a high tolerance to this chrome, he's able to constantly equip and upgrade himself. He has what they call protagonist powers. Main character, for whatever reason, has superpowers. I don't know, maybe he has a nine-tailed fox inside him. Who knows? Point is, he's special. He's the main character, until he's not. Cyberpunk Edgerunners, a story about running on the edge. Maybe you feel special in your own way. Maybe you are gonna keep pushing that limit and walk closer and closer and closer to the edge, just like David did. But just like the moral that it tells you about living on the edge, just like the moral it tells you about falling off the edge, so too is no one special. Everyone's special in their own way. We all have our own strengths, our own weaknesses, and our own reason to push forward. Everyone feels special. But once you really think you're special, once you're no longer grounded in that reality because things are going your way so often, that's when it's gonna hit you that ultimately, you're just like everyone else. Just a little man struggling to run on the edge and not fall off. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy. Please subscribe to Nuxanor for more analysis videos. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back to do analysis stuff. Aren't you happy? You've been asking forever. Well, here I am. I hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. Share it to your Edgerunner friends who just felt like sharing. Thank you all so much. I do appreciate every single one of you. Have yourself the most wonderful evening, and remember to stay weird, fam.